as we continue in chapter 14, we're now down to the final stages of Jesus' ministry and ultimately his life. He's being handed over to the enemies of God. And it's important to note that all along the way, this was not against his will. Okay? He was a willing participant. And even though he was like a lamb being led to the slaughter, he was not ignorant of what was about to happen. He was in control every step of the way. In fact, we see this here because even in the midst of his arrest, we see Jesus healing the soldier with his ear cut off. He picks up his ear and supernaturally heals him in front of everyone that will be willing to truly watch and see. So this was a mighty display of his power. So certainly he had the power to resist this arrest and escape this crowd if he was willing. This whole event, including the mock trial that would happen overnight, is just wrong. It's done in private. It's done in secret because they know in their heart of hearts that he's innocent. And they know that they do not have a legitimate charge against Jesus. In verse 48, Jesus says, "Have you come out with swords and clubs to arrest me as you would against a robber? Every day I was with you in the temple teaching, and you did not seize me. But this has taken place to fulfill the scriptures." They had plenty of opportunity to take him, and they needed the cover of darkness to cover their sin. And they also needed one of Jesus' own, one of those close disciples of his. They needed the man named Judas to betray him. Consider Judas, he who had just dined with Jesus during the Last Supper, he who had his feet washed by Jesus in that tremendous act of humility, he who had spent 3 years in a close personal relationship with Jesus. He would betray his master with a kiss. He looked him straight in the eye, and for a few pieces of silver, he valued those things over God himself. These two examples show us that knowledge is not enough. It doesn't matter how much knowledge you have, whether it's the formal education of the Pharisees or it's the intense discipleship that Judas received under the greatest teacher in the world. It only matters what's in your heart. The ultimate proof of how one cannot be a Christian without first being a disciple, but you evidently can be a disciple without being a Christian. Judas had every opportunity to believe and to trust Jesus for who he said he was. However, he ultimately proved to be one of those who just wanted something from Jesus rather than learning from him and worshiping Jesus for who he is. Judas wanted to receive. He was unwilling to give. He was not the last man to trade Jesus for worldly goods. But I pray that this will never be the case for us. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and yet lose his soul? Jesus is worth more, and his free gift is priceless.